Hey, and welcome back to the Rise and Recreate podcast, a space where we explore stories of transformation, healing, and the courage it takes to completely recreate your life from the inside out. I'm your host, Raechel Shannie, and today I'm joined by Taylor, a beautiful soul whose journey is such a powerful reminder that our true calling often reveals itself in the most unexpected ways. Taylor went from working as a server to discovering her deeper purpose as a massage therapist and intuitive healer, helping others reconnect to their bodies, releasing stored emotions, and returning to a state of peace and alignment. Her story is one of listening to the whispers of the heart, trusting divine timing, and allowing the path to unfold one step at a time. Taylor, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited for you to share your journey with us all and, the wisdom that came through as you followed that inner nudge towards healing and purpose. So before we dive into all of the healing work you do now, I'd love for you to introduce yourself in your own words. For those meeting you for the first time, who is Taylor today and how would you describe what you do and what lights you up the most about it?
Thank you for having me. Now I am living back in the hometown that I grew up in all my life, and I moved away for a bunch of years, but now I'm back living here as a full-time massage therapist, craniosacral practitioner, and Reiki master. And I just lead intuitive sessions with my clients that are mainly like a fusion of all of the modalities that I do into one, and just connecting to the person, seeing what comes up for me for them and what they're trying to work on to heal. And then we just kind of let my intuition guide it. It's very a restorative session, a relaxing session, but very intentional. And that's where I'm at.
Mm, Thank you so much.
You're
So,
welcome.
before this healing path found you, take us back to life before this and what was that like for you and where did the calling to go down this path come from?
So honestly, since I was younger, I've just now being able to look back at everything. I know that I had the call to be a massage therapist since I was little, like to the point where I would always be the one like massaging my friend, like giving my friends scalp massages or shoulder massages at sleepovers. And my mom would be like paying me like $10 to like rub her head or her feet or something when I was like little. And it was just like a thing. And we kind of all just like knew that it was like a thing that I just like enjoyed doing that for people. I never wanted to receive massage myself, which was interesting, but I just always wanted to like give it. And then as I got older, like in high school, I kind of it was like something I would just say, like when people would ask me what I was gonna do when I was older or something. I'd be like, I don't know, I'm gonna do this, 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 and then one day I'll be a massage therapist. Like it was always just something that I just said and I didn't know where exactly it came from. And I never really took it fully seriously for years because I wasn't really surrounded by anybody in my life that had a job like that, so I didn't really think of it as a career, and it just felt like this far off thing that I just kinda would, like, fantasize about, like, "Oh, I just wanna be a massage therapist," and I don't know. So then I started traveling and everything, and then it just got louder when I was traveling, like, when I was really like, "Okay, I'm not living there's like, a purpose that I'm not feeling, I'm not getting fulfilled from my travels anymore, there's something missing here," and I had an incident that we can get into later that solidified in Indonesia where I walked out of, like, a room and I was just like, "It's time to answer this call," and that's what I did, and then I started exploring, like, massage schools and things like that.
Mm. Well, we can just
Crazy.
dive right into that if you're comfortable. Share more about this
Yeah.
experience that cracked you open and made you realize, okay, I'm going to change. Line drawn in the sand. Let's go.
So, I was backpacking for, like, 2 years in Australia, and that's where the call got, like, really loud because it was an amazing 2 years. I was doing a lot of backpacking style travel, like working odd jobs and then doing road trips with friends in between the jobs. And when we were doing this, West Coast trip, on the West Coast of Australia. That's where, like, I just had no ties to anything. I had no jobs. I was just traveling with friends. We were camping every day. It was so fun. And it just kept being in my mind, like, the next time that I go to make, like, a decision of moving or something, like, I want it to be for massage school. Like, I'm done just, like, moving with no money and, like, traveling from place to place. It's been really fun, but it's just not giving me that thing, like, it's time to just answer whatever the heck this call has been. So then, long story short, on my way home, I stopped in, Thailand and Indonesia and did a couple more travels before moving back to the States after my 2 years in Australia. And I had this, like, scuba diving incident in Indo that was quite traumatic, and the next day, I went to get a massage, and during that massage, like, the lady was massaging me, she, like, barely spoke English, and I didn't even think about the accident, nothing about the previous day. I was just enjoying getting into the massage. That had been, like, my happy place, like, living in Southeast Asia and Australia, like, really, I was just getting massages all the time and realizing that, like, it was calling me in that way too, and I was seeing the benefits of how it's helping my body. But so when she got to my legs, it, like, took me right back to the traumatic accident the day before because the scuba instructor had to, like, grab my leg for something with the incident, and it just, like, took me back there, and I hadn't even really remembered that, like, how he had grabbed my leg, so it, like, gave me a, like, window back into, the memory because it was, like, stored in my leg, and I just started to make the connection during that massage, like, we store our trauma in our muscles. It's, like, always been something that I hear, but I never had fully experienced it for myself, and that was when I was like, "Okay, that was that." Like, she just and I started crying, and then, like, she moved on, and then I had stopped, and then she got to my other leg, same exact thing, another memory, I cried that out, and then she, like, kept going, and I felt so much lighter, I felt so much better, and I literally walked out of that room, and I was just, like, there by myself, and I remember, like, I can close my eyes and, like, see the little place, like, on this little island in Indonesia and just having that aha moment, like, I wanna help people do that. Like, I know what just really happened was that, like, if I didn't get that trauma out of my calf, like, today, something would have festered and, like, created an ailment, but, like, because I literally nipped it in the bud and, like, just got that shit out and cried and processed it, like, that was life changing, and I was like, "It's time for me to do that for people." Like, and that was it. And then I was just like, "I'm gonna find a school." It was crazy.
What a pivotal moment. It was like embodying the truth, and you could no longer not answer the call.
Like,
You're like,
denial. Yes.
that's it. So you said, I'm curious because you had this idea in your mind since you were a little child, and you kept putting it off as one day in the future, one day in the future. And then life came and smacked you and said, now is the time. So for somebody listening who definitely has this idea of what it is they want to do in the future, do you have any advice to them of like, go ahead and find the courage within to do it now? What would you say to them?
I feel kind of part of me feels like to trust the timing though, like, I do think it just needed to unfold, like, that way for me, and that if I had answered it sooner I don't know, it was just, like, the way my journey went was the way it was supposed to go, but I do think that if someone is feeling that loud pull, like, at least to start allowing yourself to, like, dance with it, like, to explore the idea. Like, I would start, like, Googling stuff, like, I did that for years, like, I would just Google schools or Google things or, like, imagine. So it was like dipping a toe into it. So do something that you can do that feels like you're listening a little or going towards it or starting to entertain the idea, I
Right,
guess,
keeping
is
the
best.
idea alive.
Yeah, and, like, obviously, if you feel like you can just do the damn thing and, like, sign up, like, do that, but I feel also like the universe is gonna keep calling. So, like, it's gonna just get louder and louder until you answer.
And it sounds like for you, actually starting to get massages, which you didn't want to do when you were younger, was also dipping a toe in, like, well, let me receive this and see how I feel.
Exactly, and that was, like, big for me. Like, I always just when I was younger was like, "I'm too ticklish," or "I don't like to be touched like that," which is so crazy to even think about now. Because now I'm just like, "Please massage me forever," like, so it's just it was, all the other stuff. It's a very vulnerable. It can be very vulnerable and make you get in touch with your body, and I obviously wasn't ready to do that at a younger age, but that was true. That was, like, my dipping a toe, like, starting to just, like, "Let me just see what this is even like." Like, I keep saying, "I wanna be a massage therapist." Let me even just be around massage therapists and start receiving from them and see what that life even looks like.
Mhm.
So maybe that
So
if
when
someone has a call to, like, do a job or something, like, go explore what it would be like to even be around those people, or what would that lifestyle look like if you took it or whatever.
absolutely, absolutely, just get curious.
Exactly.
So when you made the decision, you're like, "Okay, I'm doing it. I just had this amazing experience. I wanna help other people with this. I'm gonna figure out how to do it." Were there any doubts or fears in your mind that came up of, "Am I going to be able to help people actually experience what I just experienced?"
Oh, yeah. I feel like the subconscious fears were always there. That's why I, like, put it off, like and I feel like your soul kinda knows, like your soul knows, like, when you answer the call, the big call, whatever that is for you, your purpose, your guiding light, whatever you wanna call it, you know that there's gonna be a lot to face when you answer that. So I feel like that's a part of why I was putting it off too, but without consciously knowing that that's what I was doing. But, like, yeah, heavy fears of just, like my soul just knew, like, when we do this, it's like, it's gonna shake up your whole friggin' life. Like, you're gonna have to look at limiting beliefs. You're gonna have to look at how you live your life, the routines, the friends you have, like, all of it, and it's kinda just like that, I think. It's just it's scary, but it's the best thing ever to answer it, I think.
It absolutely can be scary to dredge up all of your old shit and look at it face on. And so for somebody right now listening who they feel the call, they have made the decision, they're in it. They're in the midst of this recreation and all of the fears and the doubts are coming up. Looking back on your life, if you could go back and speak to that version of you who was going through all of that, what advice would you give her?
Just A, keep going, and B, like, be so kind to yourself. Like, be so which I was not always at all. Like, and just be so compassionate and give yourself grace that, like, it's a big thing to go against the grain or go against society or what your parents think you should do or your friends think you should do, and just answering some random call that you don't understand where it comes from, and, like, just be proud of yourself for doing that and just give yourself extra love around it
Mhm.
and during it.
Definitely. And trust that you are capable and you can handle it. You can do it. So you're
Exactly.
going through massage school. What were you thinking then? Were you like, "Oh my gosh, I am doing this?" Like, how did the whole schooling process go for you?
Oh, honestly, that's where it really started, like, the uncracking of things. Like, I did not know that that's what was gonna happen when I went to school. Like, first of all, I picked a school that was in Costa Rica, so it wasn't, like, anywhere in my hometown. I decided to do, like, a all immersive experience with it. I didn't wanna have to be, like, driving to and from school and then coming home and having to work at the same time. Like, I was like, "I wanna go into a full-on bubble of this and make it like an immersion experience." So I found, a Costa Rica school, and it was, like, 3.5 months. So it was, like, 600 hours in 3.5 months. So it was, like, eat, sleep, breathe, massage, and that in itself was just so intense, like, and we were all just, like, cracking open because we were, like, massaging each other so much, so much stuff was coming up for everybody, and, like, it was just such a beautiful but confronting experience, and that was the first start of, like I had gone there with a boyfriend that was really, I don't like to call people like toxic anymore, but just very it was not a healthy situation and I didn't even know how unhealthy it really was. And like that fell away when I was at school. Like things were already just starting to fall away when I was at school that just like weren't me. So it was like a very, very confronting journey, but like beautiful. And I met beautiful people. I just feel like I met myself fully there for the first time maybe ever or like just in a long time. As an adult, I don't know. It was a very intense but beautiful experience.
Hmm. So I like so it's there's a theme occurring, right? Like your first
Yeah.
experience with feeling the release of stored emotions in your body from the scuba accident, and now here you are being massaged every day, and so much is releasing. And when did it occur to you that there's so much more to massage than just the physical touch of massage?
I chose that school as well, like also for where it was, the journey that it would bring of being in Costa Rica, all these things, but also because there was a craniosacral course on the curriculum. And I had never seen it before. I had never heard of that, but something inside me was like, I'm so curious about this. Like, what is this? And I started looking up all these things. And when I received that there was the first time that I had an experience where I like felt that feeling of like getting a break from your body, like of going into your body and your brain being like completely turned off and like seeing a little bit of the in between world. I don't know what else to call it of that place that you can go when you get energy work done and craniosacral therapy done to you. And that was the first time I ever felt that. And I was like, what was that? I'm obsessed with that feeling. Like, I want that more. So that, I don't know, that was the first time that I'll never forget, like that first massage I got from somebody that it was like an integrated 90-minute massage that had craniosacral therapy in it. And she's like, that impacted me so much. That's like kind of what I give now too. And it was just, I don't know, that was the first time that I was like, we are so much more than the physical body, and I didn't know that before I got here. Like, I didn't
Can you
even know about it, like, think about energy and know about energy in that way until I went to school. And now I'm, like,
can you
trying to teach
explain for
kids.
oh, can you explain for those listening what type of therapy that is?
Okay, so craniosacral therapy is it works within the cerebral spinal fluids and the spine system of the body. So it's like we have cerebral spinal fluid that runs from our sacrum to like our cranium in a continuous loop. And when that fluid is running smoothly, it's like then we can reach our healing state and or like our ultimate healing state that we like come into this world with. And like just from our like vertebrae shifting out of place from life and whatever gravity, all the things, taking on trauma, whatever it is, like that just gets it doesn't run as smoothly. And the idea is like I'm working within the body to using intention and touch and certain hand placements on the body to like a, relax the nervous system back down out of fight or flight into like rest and digest so that it can get into the healing state. And B, allow for like the connective tissues to release because our connective tissues and our fascia connects all our muscles together. And that's what really creates the movement in our body. Like we would just be a skeletal system, we would just be bones and muscles stuck to our bones, and the connective tissue and the fascia like helps everything move around, and that's connected to the cerebral spinal fluid, and that's connected to our subconscious. So it's like this whole ability of allowing the body to just like called like an unwinding. Like I'm just really listening to where there's like bunched up fascia or stagnant blood or energy or anything and like allowing the body to just like release it on its own and like let that go, let blood flow, let all the things. That makes sense.
Hmm. I love that there was just a nudge pulling you towards it. You read it and you're like, I don't know what this is, but I'm feeling called. Then you experienced it and it unlocked yet another layer and the path continues to unfold. So
Yeah.
now you're getting curious about, okay, there's more than just our physical body. There's this whole realm of energy surrounding the body and even within the body. And what did your process look like of unraveling that and just learning more and more and more about the energetic body as well?
I mean, the whole process just turned into like, I feel like when I was at school, I tapped into what like imagined, what I like wanted for what I wanted my life to look like, if that makes sense. Like I was like embodying this person that like went to massage class, and then after I would like go get body work done on me, or I would go to the beach, I'd be learning like all of these things that I was just like, this isn't actually what my life looks like at home, but this is what I want my life to look like from here on out. So then it was like when I went back home, it was like just jarring to be like, okay, I don't even go to yoga classes regularly. I don't have meditation in my life regularly. I drink a lot. Like so it was just like this big thing of being able to see like that's what I want, but that's not where I actually am, and how do I get my life to get there? What do I have to do? And then that was just like an insane years like of just unraveling, like looking at each part of my life. Like how am I spending money? What are my routines? How do I get like yoga into my life? How do I like just so many things like that. How do I become more healthy? Because I can't possibly be like working on people and teaching people how to be healthy when I'm staying up until 4 a.m., like going out and partying. So it was just like very like I was not living a life that like was on the trajectory to what my higher self and like wanted and what my soul was like. I know I actually like I fantasize about this other life that I got a glimpse in Costa Rica that it's possible for me to live. But if I continue with whatever I'm doing right now in this exact moment with these exact routines and jobs and whatever, it's not that. So,
Mm-mm. That's a
you
very
know, kind of,
confronting thing to
yeah.
realize, like, especially when you get a glimpse and you're like, okay, I have a glimpse. I just lived this in Costa Rica. This is absolutely possible for me. But then you go back home to where you just put yourself in the exact same environment you were in prior to that glimpse. And what were the first steps you started to take to really start to embody that version of you that you knew you wanted to be?
Honestly, I don't know if like I don't want to like scare people from deterring because I don't know if everybody's is so confronting as mine, but mine was just very like I got home and I honestly I ignored it. Like I just spent a full summer of just I'm not ready to even take a single freaking step into that. Like I'm just ready to have fun with my friends. I'm ready to party all summer because I got home in like end of May, and I live in a tourist town. So it was like we were just gearing up to do like our busy season. And I was like, I'm gonna table this and I'm not ready and I just wanna enjoy my summer. So I just kept waitressing and I kept partying and whatever. And honestly, that made me hit like a bit of a rock bottom because I just kept ignoring that, like, I knew something else was out there and I had had a taste of it, so then everything I was doing was not, like, fulfilling me, and then I was just, like, numbing myself more to distract from the fact that I wasn't taking any steps towards that, and then I just hit this, like, moment of just, like, I can't even stand myself anymore, honestly, like, I just can't handle I know I'm ignoring so many things, and I feel unhealthy, and I just feel unmotivated, and then honestly, I went deep into transformational breath work and that like saved my life, honestly. Like I just started using that like therapy. And that was the first step that I had to take to even be able to take a step towards changing my life. It was like I needed to get some just clarity and like gunk out and like helping myself just I don't even know the word. it was like my form of therapy to like help me like get the courage and the confidence to take a step into the life that I really wanted to start living that I knew I just like
Mm,
wasn't doing.
mm.
So
I don't
that's my
think,
sub I think
yeah,
I
I
think
wouldn't say that was scary. I think most people can relate to that. When the vision of the life they want, not only do they desire it so bad, they have seen the glimpse, they know it's possible, but it's such a shock to your nervous system to be like, I'm going to release so many things about myself in
yes.
order to live this life. And if you try to release too many things at once, you completely revert, go the opposite way. The pendulum swings very big from one side to the other. And
Mhm.
so, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story because
Thank you.
that's the real stuff that people need to hear to be like, sometimes you take one step forward and then you take 5 steps backwards, but eventually you will catch yourself and find one tool that worked for you. For you, it was the breath work, and that really helped to pull you back out of that, rebuild your confidence. And so from there, how did you end up leaving the service industry and starting to really get into the massage work?
So then, like, I've just been being guided on this whole journey, which I truly believe that, like, when you answer the call, like, that's what happens. Like, it's so supported by something higher than yourself that, like, you will be supported. Like, I just had a job just fall into my lap that was like, this lady in my town, and like, she was pregnant and she just had a tiny little studio, and she was like, asking a friend of a friend, like, "I heard your friend just got back from massage school, like, is she interested in all and taking a job because I literally just need somebody to come in here and, like, help me run this while I'm getting super pregnant and whatever." So, I just, like, didn't have a choice, like, it was just like, "I gotta answer this opportunity, like, it's time to do it." So, I feel like I can't remember if she had asked me before, like, the breath work or not, but I just know that I started, like, my breath work journey, like, that March, and then by that summer, I was working for her. And then I was, like, doing both, and then after, like, a couple months, the I quit waitressing, and that was scary because I wasn't really super established, I didn't have, like, a client book, but I just kinda was like, "I'm too exhausted to do both of these." Like, it's not working for me to, like, waitress and massage people, so I'm just gonna figure it out and just massage and hope that it works, and, like, it just started to work, so, yeah.
Huh? So now you're in it. You're living it. You're like, okay, the alignment's starting to get closer. You've answered the
Yep.
call. You're on the path. You've had a few experiences where you realize there's so much more to this work than the physical body. And in the beginning, I know you mentioned you are a Reiki master. So if you could now take us down that path, and how did that unfold?
So that was, like, well, my first massage boss, she was really into energy work, and that was really helpful for me in my journey because that opened me up to just getting more comfortable with understanding that people are intuitive and what that means and what energy work means. And she was really fascinated by the fact that I like had taken a craniosacral course. So I was like, I just went right into like doing craniosacral on people and what I just intuitively thought it was and what I could do. And people were having like palpable reactions to, like, what I was doing, and I was just kept getting the green light that, like, this is even when I think I don't know what I'm doing, like, this is an innate intuitive gift that, like, things are happening. I'm allowing people to get to that place. So, she, I think, encouraged me to, like, just take a Reiki 1 and 2 course. So I did it, I think, the first summer that I had, like, started massaging, and then about a year or maybe 2 years later, I did my Reiki master. And that was just I mean, that's so wild in itself because you're did you do your Reiki?
Not
No,
yet.
okay.
I'm
You
feeling the
yeah.
call. So I feel like
Yeah,
that's going to happen soon.
100%. So you're just, like you're attuned, so you're, like the Reiki master attunes your body and your energy field to being able to hold just life force energy, like more energy to then not be fully kind of like siphoning all of your energy when you're working on people. You're able to access like more energy that isn't just yours. So it's like it's not as A, draining for you, and B, it's more healing because you're accessing like universal life force energy. But when you get attuned and you have that ability to then take that energy on into your body, it kind of like it's such a high frequency of an energy that it just makes everything that's super low frequency that doesn't match with that energy like come up and out. So that was just a whole nother like opening for myself of like more emotions and limiting beliefs and things that were just like my whole journey just feels like it's been a very uncovering of like it's always been me, but like uncovering everything that it was is not me that I've taken on since I was little and just to come back to like the truest form of me. And that's
Mm.
how it feels.
And so, for somebody who is listening right now and their curiosity's sparking and they're like, okay, like I want to look more into this for some of the body work, is there anything that they can do within their self to start to maybe release some of these stored emotions and embody this and have that experience for themselves?
I mean, that's what I like I want to work towards being able to give people more things that like they can do on their own, but I feel like I haven't began to super deep dive into that because I'm always kind of just like meditate like I always recommend meditating to people, but I know that like some people are so like they just roll their eyes at me like when I say that, and I'm like I get it because the old me to me was the same way. Like I used to always just be like, what is like I'm not gonna freaking sit and meditate, and it's so crazy now. I'm like 1 hour in my house, like thank God I know how to meditate, but like I feel like I just like start small. Like when I would first starting to be like, okay, I'm gonna allow like figure out how to meditate. It would be like 2 minutes on my timer. Like it was just like just sitting with yourself. Like just you don't even have to know what meditating is, but I feel like the first start of the whole journey and to get more in touch with yourself is just a can you sit with yourself? Do you enjoy yourself, your energy, your company? Like can you sit inside your house without distractions for an hour, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, whatever? And if the answer is no, like, start with that. Figure out how to just be with yourself. And then it's just like in itself, that's starting your journey because if you don't like what you're feeling or saying, that's the start of your medicine, you know? I don't know if that is even helpful. Like, I don't know what else to other, like, tools for people, like, I always recommend gua shaing, lymphatic drainage, like, look that up, that's so, so important. You can do that on your own, like, things like that.
Mm. But I think, I mean, the important thing is here is it's all with it's all within you. It's all inside.
Yeah,
And from the moment we wake
mhm,
up to the moment we go to sleep, it's so easy to just be plugged into everything in our external environment and taking that time, that quiet time, even if you can only sit with yourself for 2 minutes when you start, that's okay. Or if you need to start with guided meditations because you don't quite know how to let your thoughts pass by without gripping onto them. Like there are so
that's
many
what I did.
ways, and the guided meditations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I forgot. That was actually, like, what I would just dabble with for a long time before I could even do the 2-minute timer.
Mhm.
So, like,
Right, because it's
somebody else.
hard to let those thoughts go at first.
Yeah, and you're kinda like, "What does that even mean?" Or, "What does that even look like?" You know? So it just teaches you, like, that it is possible to have a quiet mind because I didn't even think that was a thing
Mhm.
for years.
Absolutely. So now here you are, fully in the massage world. You're tapping into Reiki. You're learning more about energy. Was there a time that you started to identify as, a healer who's helping people along their healing journey? And if you did start to identify as that, what beliefs came up around that?
I mean, I feel like that's been so much of this is like I s- I don't know. That's a hard one because I still feel like some days I just have so many self-doubts, like as we all do. And I'll still catch myself like I'm in a room, I allow get this person to completely relax who, like, just told me that they literally don't know how to relax, they can't relax, and they're, like, completely out, and I'm like, I know that my energy and what I'm doing is, like, getting people to these places that they've never gone before. They're feeling things within their body when I'm not even touching them, all the things, and then I, like, walk out of the room, and I'm like I just, like, forget that I just did all this for people. I'm still like, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or I don't know what I'm doing enough," or "I need to read more books before I do anything else on people." I'm just, like, really having to deprogram my mind from thinking that, like, we need external, like, information, like, that what I'm feeling and knowing from within myself isn't enough. Like, that has been the
Mm.
hugest thing for me. And I feel like I am finally there where I do trust myself, but that's still just like, from society and from since we were little, we just were taught that it's such an external journey, like that you have to go learn something out of a book or go to like 5 years in a school or whatever, whatever. And just like your own intuition isn't enough. And so that's just been the hardest part for me with being an energy healer because it's so just something you just feel it. And if I don't know, it's just such a hard it's been a hard one for me, but like in the best way. But it's a lot to it's it's like a dance between like getting my logical brain to just like be removed out of it and be like, we're feeling things that are like I can't explain it. It's just it is what it is. So I
Mhm.
don't even know if I answered the question.
No, you absolutely did. And I think a lot of people, particularly women, can relate to this where they're chasing that the next degree, the next certification, something that can prove their worthiness, that they're capable of doing the thing that they already internally know how to do and that they've proven to themselves they can do, but it's not enough. It's that hamster wheel of I need more. I need more to prove to other people that I can do this.
It's like we
And
absolutely
so,
need it, and we absolutely need mentors, but, like,
mm,
just knowing that, like, you still have that within you, like, that's enough. You are
yeah.
enough.
Well, you are enough. And it's a constant evolution of expanding and then
Yeah,
shedding what no longer serves you. And every time you expand a bit more, those beliefs are going to come to the surface of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I capable? Am I worthy? Who is going to validate me and tell me that I'm capable and worthy? So when these beliefs would come up of doubt, basically, and you not completely being able to identify this new person that you had become, what were things that you did in the moment to almost relieve the pressure of these fears and doubts that did arise?
holding on to the hope that I knew that, like, a more aligned life was possible because I have felt glimpses of it, and I feel like early days, I would just use a lot of tools of like, I would walk a lot by myself, like get into nature before I even realized like that's kind of what I was doing. But like journaling, sitting outside, going on walks, like to just help me get out of that monkey mind in my brain and be like anything I could do to like get back into my body because whenever I did that I just knew that like I felt better and I felt more hopeful but when I would like sit in the thoughts and the doom loop I would feel anxious and stressed and before I really understood that how to play with both of those things and to release that but that's I feel like the earliest days was just like feeling the glimpses of knowing that, like, I feel better at least when I walk or when I get out of my head. So more of that is kinda
Mm-hmm.
just, I think, what I started to do.
Mm-hmm. Get out of the head, but in
And
a healthy way.
yes, yes, exactly. Like, and just back in the body, like anything that creates that it's not the numbing anymore, it's not the distracting anymore, but it's the like, how do I feel more in my body? And a lot, like the breath work helps me a lot of like going to energy healers to balance my own energy before I could really do it myself. Like, but then you can get to a point, even if you're not a Reiki practitioner, where you can like balance your own energy yourself. But just early days before I knew how to do any of that, I guess leaning on body workers and energy healers and just any kind of tools, journaling, walking, etc.
Mm. And so I think, in the Western world, I do believe that we're coming along and people are starting to tap into this and feel this for themselves, which then turns into the belief of, oh, there really is so much more than the body. And, this has been known for centuries in other parts of the world. But for people who are, living in the Western world and they really want to get into energy work, but they have that fear of, oh my gosh, are people even going to believe that this is real? First of all, did you experience that for yourself? And second of all, what would you say to other people who are just so afraid of, their family's reactions or their friends' reactions when they step onto that path?
I feel like firstly, I was so skeptical for sure. Like when I just was so disconnected from my body for so long that I didn't I would definitely hear things like that, and I was always, like, kind of curious, like, when I would travel, I would go to a yoga class. When I would travel, like, I would dip a toe, but, like, when I was home, I feel like I didn't really do any of that stuff, so it was always kinda just like, "Oh, I'm kind of interested," but I was definitely, like the whole energy thing, I don't know, I just was skeptical of it, and I feel like until I really started to be able to, like, feel it for myself was when it was just like, "This is undeniable." Like, I can feel something within my body, and I now can feel, like, energy flow, and just getting more of an awareness surrounding, like it really started for me with, like, emotions, right? Like, for me, I relate everything back to just, like, my emotions because of, like, how my human design is and how I am, like, I can feel other people's emotions in my body as if they're my own, and that was, like, the first step for me as, like, that's what breathwork I think did for me was help get a lot of stored emotions that weren't even, like, mine out of my body, and after breathwork was when I started to be able to just feel me again, like, just starting to be like, "Okay, like, what is even my own emotion? Like, is this mine or is this my friend?" So, like, just starting with, like, the emotional journey, then, it just went hand in hand with starting to be able to understand, like, energy because emotions are literally energy in motion. So it's like it's all a part of it. Like when you start to tap into your emotional body, it just helps you start to feel energy. And energy is just like it just starts you feel like everyone knows what a vibe is. Like everybody walks into a room, I feel like, and can be like, "Oh, the vibe is off," or "That person is like weird," or and it's like they didn't do anything, they didn't say anything, but you felt something. And like I feel like everyone who operates in the Western society and, like, on the just stays on the physical plane, like, they know that that's a thing. You hear people say that. They're like, "Oh, their vibe is off," or that but, like, what is vibe? Vibe is energy. Like, it's straight
Yeah.
up just what are you feeling from that person? So I feel like that's step 1, like, taking this whole, like, it being, people who have crossed over or whatever, like, taking it more into the physical plane of, like, when do you experience when you're feeling a vibe, when you're feeling somebody's creepy or even when you walk into a room, you're like, "I wanna be in this room more because this person, it feels fun," but they didn't even really do anything, they just have that aura about them, and I feel like people can feel that and people can, like, relate it to that, so I try to just take it really down to, like, removing I think it's like the trigger words, like, people just get so triggered by when you talk about other planes and things, and you have to kinda just bring it very down. I just use the word vibes. I don't know if
Mhm.
that helped. If you asked me to give people advice, I don't even remember advice of what.
Yeah, but that's absolutely true though. The advice was like how to, when other people are thinking that this is woo-woo stuff and they are not
Exactly.
believing it. But you did just bring it back down into reality. Like, and for somebody who's like, okay, I'm worried about what my family or my friends might think, you can use a simple analogy like Taylor just did of, have you ever walked into a room and felt something? You know, it brings it back into people's day-to-day experiences that they can relate to. So that
Yeah,
was beautiful.
that's as far as, like, just worrying about what you're like, you just can't worry about what your parents and your I know it's so hard and in the moment, but it's like at the end of the day, like, this is your life and, like, they're not living your life. Like, you have to just do what makes you happy at the end of the day, and if anybody falls away, like, it's meant to, and I know it can be so jarring and it can feel painful, but, like, it's just for the best, and you have to just trust that, like, whoever and whatever doesn't come with you, like, that's the way it's supposed to go, and you will be so rewarded with people and things and opportunities that are so much more for you and for your alignment that it's just like you just can't care. It's like I know that might sound hard, but you just have to get to the place where it's like, no, I'm just gonna do what's best for me, and that's okay. We all should be doing that.
Hmm. And the funny thing is the longer you spend in resistance to the thing that is calling you, whether you're afraid of doing the thing or whatever emotion it may be, something that I've realized through my own journey is the longer I stayed in that emotion where I was trying to keep myself from feeling whatever it was I was trying to protect myself from. Me keeping myself there actually kept me in an emotion I didn't like longer than just doing the damn thing, making the leap over to the other side. And when I jumped in, like even starting this podcast, I was like, okay, this isn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. But the 6 months I spent telling myself how scary it was going to be were actually a bit more miserable than just jumping in and starting.
No, literally. And I feel that way a lot with like people get nervous to even receive Reiki sometimes because they're like, I just know, like, I hear that emotions come up and people are so afraid to feel their emotions. And I get it because I feel like before I was comfortable with it, I also was afraid of feeling mine. But like you just said, it's like, you're afraid to face that thing, to bring up that traumatic thing that happened to you, but, like, it's there anyway. You know that it's literally there and, like, it knocks at you all day. Like, it's not like you just are living this really happy life where that thing doesn't exist. It's like, it's still there. So, like, wouldn't you rather just take a day and, like, some time, a couple of days to, like, really sit with that, and then it goes away. But I feel like people don't realize that actually facing it and feeling it makes it go away. Like, because 'cause they're so used to just having it there that they just think it will always be there, but, like, that's not the case. And when I started to really feel that, that was, like, life-changing for me. Like, "Oh, I can actually, like, not have just this ruminating thought about, like, that person that broke my heart or that thing that didn't work out or whatever." Like, that actually can be released from my body and go away, and I'm so much happier. But it's like so, yeah, just having
Yep.
people be aware of that, that, like, you're holding on to it anyway, and it's driving you nuts anyway, so why not just, like, take some time to face it, and then it's poof, it's gone. Some things
Absolutely.
take
It's like
longer than others for how traumatic it was, but, like,
true.
some things really are can be quick, like, it's shocking, but it's just, like, we have to feel. We just are so this society is like, we just don't wanna feel. We're not and I get it, like, it's not even set up for us to have the space and time to feel, but we need to be
Hmm.
more.
But it's ironic because the time you're spending trying not to face the thing you don't want to feel, you're still in an emotional state and you
Yeah.
are still feeling, you're just feeling
You're
the
still
resistance
thinking
to that
about it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're still
So you're
feeling
keeping yourself
something, but it's miserable.
exactly
Yeah.
miserable. Exactly. You're keeping yourself in a cage of misery when all you have to do is let the cage dissolve. Face the thing. It's usually not that scary and it's much
No.
quicker than the 6 months you spend resisting
Yeah.
feeling the thing.
You cry for, like, 10 minutes and you're like, "Oh, it's gone. The fuck?"
That's it?
And I just spent,
Yep.
like, a year petrified of it when it's just been with me this whole time anyway, so, like, what the heck?
Uh, We are fascinating things as humans. So, Taylor,
Yeah.
your journey has been such a beautiful example of hearing a calling, listening to it, seeing how things were just placed in your awareness to respond to then continue to let the path unfold. And I feel like a lot of people listening can definitely feel parts of themselves within your story. And so before we wrap up, I'd just love for you to leave the audience with any parting words that you have, whatever just wants to be said from your heart.
Just listen to yourself. Just learn how to create a relationship with yourself, and that will unfold all of the answers that you are trying to find and ruminating over what's the thing I'm supposed to do and what will make me happy. It's like if you just start to cultivate some kind of loving relationship with yourself and start with that, like the rest will truly unfold and it will just be beautiful and you'll start to go with the flow of things. And that's just my greatest like wish for everybody to be able to just like feel happy and at peace within their bodies. Like that is all
Mm.
I want for everybody. It would just make a fucking better place for all of us. It would just make a easier place, a loving place, and just yeah, listen to whatever that call is. Don't be worried about what it is. If it's weird, if whatever. We need more weird. Like, who cares what your freaking mom and dad say? Like, just do the thing. If you want to be the best yo-yoer or like whatever, like the most random shit, like answer the call. It's fine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. One thing that I'd like to leave everybody with is just take a look at your life today and see, where are you feeling that resistance? Where do you know deep down inside you are resisting something that maybe you think is scary, maybe you think you'll feel judged for it. Whatever it may be, let all of that come up and see if you can take just one step towards it today. Thank you all for listening. I hope this has helped you in some way. And just remember that you have the power within to recreate your life whenever you choose. Have a great day.
Thank you.